up in this piece.
Greetings and thank you for joining us today on Ashtray Candy, Pod 4. There's a lot of legends.
Oh, all kinds of bones you can find, but who knows, man? Maybe certain bones they find could be fake. Who's to say?
Well,
Some people say dinosaurs don't exist, and that's all made up in their bone. That's what, I mean, I believe in dinosaurs.
Well, yeah.
To a
They've
certain
got
extent,
proof.
but who knows? I mean, who's to say?
Well, I
Put all
mean,
these bones
they
together.
they've reconstructed.
I wonder if they could find all the real bones of a dinosaur that died thousands and thousands of years ago.
Well, remember they found that mammoth, that woolly mammoth that was encased in
ice.
They
have the DNA now.
They were talking about
trying to recreate and reintroduce it into the real world again. They're trying to make another woolly mammoth.
That's Jurassic Park waiting to happen.
Oh, man. We talked about this years and years ago. We know for a fact that they've been experimenting with DNA and gene splicing and bioengineering things.
Yeah,
it was like, we're talking like late 90s, early 2000s. You and me would have conversations about something that I'd heard. I think it was on a radio show. I can't remember. Something I read about how they would splice. The military was trying to make something better than a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
So they spliced the genes and DNA of goat and spider, because supposedly, spider web, if you're able to,
well, it's very strong. It's like
very strong.
Stronger than steel.
Put it all together and entwine it, a million times, and have something instead of just one little strand. If you keep it's supposed to be almost unbreakable. And then you have a goat who supposedly, and I've seen goats eat tin cans, metal. They can eat anything, and their stomach, for whatever reason, can digest everything. So I guess, the military was like trying to mess with the DNA of a goat and a spider and trying to make something that, I don't know, some kind of...
No, you're right. It worked. They did. I saw a follow-up story on this, and you would think it, people think, well, man, it probably had 8 legs and all this. No, it looked like a regular goat. Mm-hmm. But the thing that was different about it...
They just changed a couple of their strands of DNA.
Yeah, but when they got milk from the goat, you could see, like, spider strands, like, of a web in the milk.
Ooh.
That's what happened to it. It wasn't like... Because, I remember when I first heard about this and we talked about it, automatically I assumed it was some goat with 8 legs that was shooting, maybe 24 eyes and was shooting stuff out of its ass.
It's like a combination of a goat and spider.
But no.
No, they just changed the DNA sequence a little bit.
It really looked like just a normal goat, but in the milk, when they took the milk from it, it had little strands of webbing. That's all that happened. But they were hoping to make some type of... because, see, if we were the size of like an ant and we came across a spider nest... a spider web, that sucker would probably be like a steel cage to us. It would be very strong. Well, we're so huge, we can just swipe the web away.
Sure, yeah.
So that's what
they
thought.
It would be like Shelob, her web, but
exactly.
Times 100.
Exactly.
And there's no way you're getting out of that unless you have Sting.
If we came across a spider as big as Shelob, we couldn't get out of that shit. It would be like so strong and yet sticky and we just...
Can you imagine a world where any type of insect
in a world
or arachnid well, not just a spider. I always thought like ants, the smallest little things that people just step on and easily, just killed.
Yeah.
But for their size, they're so strong. I mean, they could pick up like a breadcrumb that's twice their size. A whole
like 10
group
times.
of ants could pick up a watermelon and carry it away.
Oh, yeah.
I'd see that in Tom and Jerry all the time when they were having a picnic. All the ants would come up and carry that watermelon away. That's proof. That's real. That could happen. Yeah. Now, the ants are super strong. If you think about it, if they were just the size of a regular dog and kept all their everything else, but they just you made them the size of a dog, man, they would take over the entire world.
Oh, ants?
There's millions of ants.
Dude,
And say each one, all of a sudden, somehow, by a weird coincidence, they all turn into the size of like, I don't know, Frijon Bichet or, whatever them dogs are called. Not real big. Bichon Frise or whatever. Well, I don't know. Even a Chihuahua. Yeah. If they were that big, they'd take over the freaking world.
Can you imagine that if ants became the size of Chihuahua?
They'd be busting through this wall right now and just attacking us.
Oh, yeah.
They
Couldn't
wouldn't eat our
stop
flesh. I don't think they eat flesh, but I mean, they would kill us just to tear our arms off, and
Bet
just
they would.
because.
I bet they would, though. I bet they could eat us because
Oh, they could eat
you've
us
seen them
easily.
eat like grasshoppers and stuff like that. Some of those
Yeah.
ants.
You see like a dead worm on the sidewalk or something. There's always a bunch of ants
messing
around it doing
Yeah.
something.
That's weird. They definitely have a they know teamwork. I guess it's all like
Hell yeah, they work together big time.
they know where to go too. Like, if you were an ant, can you imagine the guy who didn't really know what to do was just standing there like, I don't know.
I don't know what to do.
I don't know. They all freaking know where to go, what to do.
The colony. That's why they all work together.
I
That's
think
why they
it's-
carry that watermelon off, man.
I
They could
think-
eat on that for a year.
I think it's pheromones and they let out that they just kind of that's how they communicate.
Pheromones and their little antennae.
Yeah.
They communicate through that and their little clicking.
Well, bugs are weird, man. Bugs always kind of look alien-like to me. I don't know. I've never really. They're fascinating, but I don't really care for them. Like praying mantis, people are like, "Oh, praying mantises are great," and they are.
Yeah, but they're creepy
They're
looking.
creepy as shit.
And they kill.
Oh my
And
god!
that's what they do.
To be a male mantis has to be the worst. If you're
They
you know.
mate, and then what? The female just rips the male's
Well-
head off and eats it.
Yeah, that's a tough price for a piece of booty. But that's well, you know why she does that? Because when she's mating, this is what I've heard. When she's mating, he is the closest source of food for like energy and protein and stuff. So I guess, dude, she goes automatically into this like nurturing her baby type mode, and like the closest thing is him. I've actually
It's like,
seen
thanks for the sex. Now you're dead. I'm gonna eat your head.
well, and I've actually seen where she is eating his head off, and he's still doing the deed.
Oh goodness.
Now that's messed up. That's the weird thing about bugs. You can like cut a limb off or cut their head off, and they'll still
It's like
keep
one of
moving.
I can't remember. It's like an old horror movie. I think we've watched it before. Where somebody they was getting it on. This girl was, riding this dude, and then the killer stormed in the room and chopped her head off, and blood was spraying
Ugh.
everywhere. But the body was still doing the deed, and the guy was like, "Yeah," finishing right as the blood was.
I
spraying
don't
out.
remember that movie.
I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
It had to be like Jason or like Friday the 13th or something like that.
But I've heard there's certain types of insects. Can't remember if it's a spider, arachnid or something. Well, they'll have their little egg sac of babies and make it, and then when the egg sac, all the babies come, there's tons of them, right?
Mhm.
Dozens of them. And they'll come and eat the parent, the mom, or just eat them.
Jesus.
But they know that they make the kids in the sack, and then the sack breaks open, and then they eat the parent. Just
That's
eat them up.
horrible.
Well, that's how the kids survive. Then they grow up, and then the cycle continues. They'll make even more egg sacs, and as soon as it bursts, all these little kids come out and eat the parent.
Wow, I didn't know that, man. That's kind of like today's children.
Yeah, of course.
These kids.
Just take over. But, speaking of insects, and I know it's weird, we don't have to get on a whole thing about them, but I read that the population is dying, dwindling, and it's like getting ready. If it keeps on going the way it is, the trajectory that, in a couple of years, if all these insects keep dying the way they are, it's going to decimate the entire ecosystem. It's going to change everything.
I can see that.
I don't know what's happening to them. They're just dying off. I don't know if it's pesticides or the weather, or who knows.
That's weird. Well, we need to look into this because, I know for a fact the honeybee population has suffered or was suffering because they actually, once again in a lab, created the African killer bee.
Mm-hmm.
They spliced, I believe it was a honeybee and an African bee, an African killer bee.
Killer bee.
Yeah, and what happened is these African killer bees would take over and kill off the honey bees. They basically just find a place and take over. And these things can keep stinging and stinging. And, some bees, sometimes when they sting you,
One sting, they're dead because they pull it out, yeah.
these suckers can just keep stinging you,
Just
and
keep
it doesn't
going,
kill
yeah.
them. So they were decimating the honeybee population, and it's a real big problem because without honeybees, who's gonna pollinate the flowers? It's not about us getting our honey,
Oh,
but
sure.
the flowers need to be pollinated,
They do a
and
lot for the ecosystem.
so by these
Things going.
scientists that made these weaponized bees, basically, they've really screwed up the honeybee population. And now they're like trying to figure out, well, how are we going to fix this? And I don't know the answer to that. You know,
At least they didn't put little mini rocket packs on their back like they did
no, but
penguins.
These, I mean, if you're allergic to bees and stuff like that, any bee can probably kill you. You know, you'll swell
There's
up.
a lot of people that are allergic to. You got to use that EpiPen immediately.
Yeah.
Got to carry it with you at all times.
But these African bees, they'll just continuously sting
That
you.
would be awful, dude. To keep it. I mean,
They'll
the bee
kill a
sting
person.
hurts for a few seconds. And it's like, but you can continue to get it. Can you imagine?
No.
Like a swarm of those, they would kill you in probably less than a minute. Just sting you. You're like, oh.
Well, there's actually,
even if you're not allergic to it, they could kill you.
there's actually a YouTube video of a guy, and he was making a video, but he was like a beekeeper type guy. Or he was trying to get rid of a beehive or wasp hive.
They kill him.
Yeah, but at the first start, he's dancing and stuff like, yeah, yeah. And then all of a sudden, they just keep stinging him. He's got the full suit on, but these bees somehow, they killed him.
Oh, damn. And he was dancing around?
At first, yeah, he was like, yeah, it was, if I can show it to you, I will. It's on YouTube. Just type in something like beekeeper dies from stings.
Beekeeper dancing.
Dancing beekeeper dies. You know, put something like that and you might be able to find it. I don't know, but yeah, it was crazy. But bugs are fascinating. I mean, I didn't know we'd get on this topic, but
me neither.
but it's pretty good. I mean, you could talk about bugs for hours. It's like a beetle.
Bugs are gross.
But a beetle's very strong. If a beetle was the size of us, we're doomed, buddy.
Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about with ants. Any kind of insect, they're so small, but they're so strong for their size. And you've seen the eyes of like a fly, right? Like up close when they zoom in, and it's got like
all these
hundreds
lenses
of little lenses just in this big orb. Oh man, it's crazy.
Well, flies, and you wonder why some things
they can see everywhere. That's why it's hard to fucking swat them out of the sky, because they can see behind their back everything. They got all these eyes in these big bulb, and they got hundreds of eyes.
Yeah, you try to sneak up on them, they see you from a mile away.
Yeah, they're like, get out of here.
But your fly, that would be one of the worst bugs to be, I think.
They only live, a week or two
That's
or
the
something
thing,
like
these
that, then they
bugs.
die.
These bugs don't live very long.
No, but there's so many of them. They outnumber humans, 3 to 1 easily.
No.
There's just too many of
creepy.
them.
Centipedes are creepy.
Yeah.
I don't like the
Those are
house
the
centipede.
worst, man.
Do you remember the night?
Yeah.
We were here.
Playing a video game, and all of a sudden
one of them ran across the thing.
Just right across my legs as we're playing a game.
I don't think it ran across your legs.
No, it didn't run. I mean, it was by the legs, where I was.
It
playing.
ran out of the from underneath the couch, and you were like, "Holy shit, what is that?" And so we ended up getting it and killing it, and
had to kill it.
As soon as we started talking about it, we saw another one.
We're like, damn. Hopefully that's the only one.
And then boom, there'd be another one.
There's another one.
That was the weirdest freaking thing. I remember.
Well, they come out of nowhere. You never can tell. They come in trains and shit
They're smart. You wouldn't think it
or something.
I don't know if they're like
Ew.
house centipedes. They're
The
creepy.
worst.
But that's the thing. Like, I don't know if it's the light or what it is, but they seem kind of smart. One time, there was one of them, and I saw it, and it got behind a dresser, and there was a sock that had fallen behind the dresser, and it was like, I had like a flashlight and a shoe, so I'm waiting for it to come out, and I'm just gonna smash it, right? I'm sorry if you love bugs, but if they're in the house, they got to go.
Yeah.
But this thing kept hiding behind this sock, and I was flashing a light, and I was like, I see you. I know you're behind that sock. And I just waited there for it. And finally, it was like it was waiting too, and it just darted out as fast as it could. I got it, but man, these things, I don't know if it's light sensitivity or what, but it seems like even if they're crawling and you're like, holy shit, and you look at it, they'll stop.
Yeah. They'll freeze. Like, they know you're looking at it. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
They're just waiting for you.
Yeah.
As soon as you walk up to it and try to do something, then it'll try to wiggle off and dart away. It's like, get on out of here. Disgust.
This shit's creepy.
Ugh. Yeah. I don't know why we're talking about bugs so much, but hell. They're all kind of gross, but part of nature.
No. That about wraps it up. We talked a lot about insects.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that either. We hope you guys are having a good day, a good night, and we will see you in the next one.